Good morning. It's Thursday, May 26th, and this morning in my devotional, it was talking about how God does not change, and how in the midst of so many things that are changing around us constantly, that God remains the same, and how we can take comfort in that. And it was just dead on. I was praying on the way home from Bible study last night, and I was crying out to God, literally sobbing, and there are a lot of things changing in my life and in relationships, and I was just crying out to God about those. And it's so comforting to know that people change and circumstances change, and all around us, nothing is really certain, but God is like an anchor. His character does not change. He is always looking out for our good, and he has the best plan for us. And so when we can take hold of that, it is so comforting. And it was really neat because my one devotional was talking about that, and my other one was talking about Jonah, and he goes to this city in Nineveh that is just going entirely in a bad direction, and so God, calls them to turn back to Him, and they do, and God is merciful on them, and He doesn't destroy their city. And Jonah is actually upset about this because these are essentially his enemies, and so God is letting them have mercy, and Jonah's upset. And the author of the Bible study brought up a really interesting point about, it says that God relented and was merciful, and so when we relent, it's like we make a mistake or turn, and so it brings up the question, well, did God change His mind? Because I just read like 5 minutes earlier that God is not changing. And when you actually break down the word, the Hebrew word, it means more so God responded, and He was moved to pity. And I just love that our God can be moved, and His heart can be moved, and is compassionate, and so he was touched by the Ninevites changing their ways, and he never wanted to have to give them consequences, but He's moved by the way that they come back. And I think that's such a neat thing about God's character and who He is, that He does desire in His nature to be gracious to us. And I was just really touched by that this morning. So really neat combo of two devotionals, and I love how they complemented each other, and it was just really something I needed to hear, especially just with circumstances going on in my life right now. So I just pray that you see God as compassionate and merciful, and that you are able to see Him at work today and just learn a little more about His character and His love.